Hey guys, it's Corey Alexander. Just wanted to say thank you for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button.
It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. The round, Geico Motorcycle Superbike Speed Fest at Monterey. As we have a look at the beautiful California coast, the sun is shining as we expect it to shine here in Central California. We're at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in Monterey. Welcome, everybody, to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup is tight at top in terms of the points. But the biggest news coming out of the Ridge Motorsports Park, where we were just a couple of weeks ago, was the young 15-year-old Kayla Yakov getting her first win.
Yeah, and what a big win it was. The young lady came into the Ridge after a disappointment at Road Atlanta earlier in the year. I think there was everybody in the paddock wanted to see her win a race outright, and she was able to do that at the Ridge. As we look back at that incident in Atlanta, this is last lap, Greg. She wasn't going to be denied going down into turn 10. Unfortunately, you can see just there on the top of our screen, there was a yellow flag out. So due to that, she got put back to third. Still got good points, but it was a pretty big disappointing day for her, in a day where everybody was excited to see the 31 of Kayla Yakov win. But move forward to the Ridge, and even though she knew Gus Rodeo just behind number 96 was going to get a jump start penalty, she wasn't going to be denied again. She wanted to come across the flag, the start-finish line rather, and see that checkered flag first for herself, and she was able to do so.
And of course, she just had her birthday, 15 years old. So Kayla has only been in MotoAmerica since she turned 14 years old. So it's just been about a year for the young lady from Pennsylvania. As Yakov celebrates her victory, let's take a look. Jay, her first race was at the Ridge. She gets 9th and 6th, and she was on the podium for the first time her final weekend. But this year, it's been incredible. 5 podiums and 7 starts, and her first win.
And I think that when you look back at what she did at the end of last year, that really helped build momentum going into the 2022 season. She had a great offseason. She rides all the time, so she gets a chance to be on the motorcycle a lot. She got brought through to Altus this year with the Altus Motorsports team, and now she's seen that pace at the front at the end of last year. She's been up front all year this year.
And we got a race on deck, but right now let's hand it off to our MotoAmerica Live Plus crew. Here's Greg Creamer and Roger Hayden.
Thank you very much, Greg. And indeed, getting ready for this one to unfold, and looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. So much drama, obviously, that we've seen. There is a look at Cody Wyman, and he is starting on the pole. And he's been really, really stout this year. As we said, only 2 points at Drifter Rodeo, but tied with Lamandri. I mean, this points chase is incredible.
Yeah, and also there's some other riders in the mix this weekend, too, that we need to give a shout-out to. Hayden Bickney's qualifying 4th. Daniel Lanuza, this is his first Junior Cup race. Yesterday he was on provisional pole. Ended up 7th overall, though, but still he's only a half a second off. So there's some new names that's going to be in there this weekend, and that's what makes this class so exciting. Once a young rider figures it out, then there's a new name at the front.
And Lanuza, I mean, he was really impressive, as you pointed out, in that first qualifying run. Slipped a little bit in the second one, as you said, ends up overall in that 7th spot. But you can be sure he's going to be somebody to keep an eye on. And this is one of those categories where, some of the others, you want the riders to stick around a while to build their name and their fame and everything. This one, you want to see him move up. You want to see one of these people make a move like Tyler Scott and get up there. This is definitely a class where the idea is learn your racecraft, move up, build an awesome career.
And that's probably the experience that he doesn't have is probably what hurt him in qualifying. These guys know what it's like to, at the end of that second qualifier, just really uncorking one good lap.
And this is where they build that specific racecraft. So we're looking forward to this one unfolding. Cody Wyman will start on pole over Max Van, and Joseph Lamandri will be filling out that first row.
Here's a starting grid. Cody Wyman with Max Van and Lamandri Jr. on the front row.
Then we got Bickney's Rodeo and Kayla there. Greg, is she starting there on row number 2? Daniel Lanuza, a great story that we'll get into as the day goes on. Chase Black, Hayden Thau, Owen Williams, Medina, and Avery Dreyer is going to be outside row 4. Enriquez, Rivera, Nichols, Reese, Gower, Allegra are back there also, Greg. And then we got more neon there on row 7.
$13 laps scheduled for SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 1 here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Cody Wyman, your pole sitter on that Alpha Omega Kawasaki Ninja 400. So revs are up. And lights are off, and we're going.
It's a great start from Cody Wyman. As you can see, Max Van, I had a chat with him today. He's very confident, G-Dub. He loves this track, loves this place, and he's still trying to squeeze up underneath Cody Wyman. Looks like he's going to get that job done. Or does Cody come down on top of him? A little bit he does. So Cody Wyman is going to hold that spot. Really good from Cody there. And Max Van's going to slot in with Lamondre. And Kayla Yakov gets a great start. G-Dub gets herself from the second row up into 4th early with Gus Rodeo in 5th.
So Yakov trying to get herself in position to repeat her performance from last time at the Ridge, but look at Wyman early on carrying tremendous corner speed, and Jay had a chance to be in their pits and take a look at that livery. It's like an old Ninja kind of that purple and pink paint job. It's a great looking scheme on the Alpha Omega Ninja 400. Cody Wyman leading the way. But this is what we see here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, especially in the SportbikeTrackGear.com class. Any opportunity to draft and close up on another rider, any little straightaway, and these little 400s take advantage of it. Up the hill they go on the draft and pass.
Lamondre takes the lead. He's trying to get up underneath Cody, or around the outside of Cody Wyman. He gets it done on the 62. So Lamondre very fast up that hill. Speaking with him before the start of the race, you can see that direct line, Greg, as he comes down the hill. He opens up that little bit of a gap. Lamondre felt fairly confident that he could maybe try to get away a little bit in certain places of this racetrack. You can see we got about 5 or 6 other guys and lady there in the middle of it who are thinking otherwise. But Lamondre gets him the lead on the first lap. Looks like he could possibly lead them across the line. Now keep in mind, G-Dub, this is a track where we don't see a lot of big drafting or anything like that, but on these smaller bikes, we can definitely see them getting in the draft of each other, and you can see them starting to spread out as they go down to turn 2. Cody Wyman is going to take that lead back.
Cody does for a moment, but I was looking at Kayla Yakov and how she breaks. So Lamondre Jr. on that SportbikeTrackGear.com Ninja 400 continues to lead the way. His teammate Max Van coming from the front row. It's good to see Max Van back in the action. SportbikeTrackGear.com sponsored. But you can hear some.
Oh man!
Big high side.
Is that
Gus Rodeo?
That's Daniel.
Oh,
yes, that's Daniel Lanuza. He's waving that he's okay. Oh, that was a big high side. He's up, Greg, out of turn 4. That bike goes sideways, and that is a big high side. I'm so happy to see him up and all right. Local California rider from, I believe, up by Mountain Gate.
Mountain View, California. Yep. So,
man,
unfortunately,
him okay.
Daniel Lanuza been fast all weekend long and right in the mix. So he's out of it.
And you can see him in the background there, G-Dub. That bike goes sideways, and that thing is really sideways. He's going to land flat on his back.
Ugh.
I'm so happy to see him get up. That's the kind of accident you can have. Aiden Thau does an amazing job of going out onto the dirt to miss that rider and bike sliding down the track, and I'm happy to see him waving his arms and letting everybody know he's okay.
Aiden Thau got that thing turned on slicks in the dirt. That was pretty amazing.
Wow, he really did too.
So Cody Wyman now back into 3rd spot as Max Van got around him on the 48. And there's Yakov on the Altus Motorsports entry in 4th spot. Fastest lap of the race at the moment to Yakov, a 138.5. As down into turn 2 they go. And Yakov moves, well, for a moment, looked like position on the outside for Kayla. And then Gus Rodeo, the 96, in 5th spot. And is that Hayden Bickneys?
Yeah, he's kind of by himself, isn't he? He's in no man's land. What that did is that fractured this group up with Daniel going down, Daniel Lanuza going down there out of this turn last lap by. It kind of split that group up. You can still see the bike sitting there on the outside of the track, and Max Van gets a great drive and draft pass through turn 4. Cody Wyman follows him through. So 5 people that we've seen running up the front all year long are there again, and when you start thinking about this points championship, you and I have talked about it all year, we're going to crown a brand new champion. Nobody from this group has ever been a MotoAmerica champion before. And everybody in this group is in that championship hunt.
Just to remind you, Gus Rodeo, who's back in fifth spot, as Cody Wyman goes to the front. Now will lead us down the corkscrew. Gus Rodeo leads this championship over Cody by 2 points. Lamondre Jr. is tied. And then Yakov only 8 points back in this championship hunt, with Max Van 19 points. So here is your top 5 in the championship, all racing it up for the lead at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Hannah.
Well, Joseph Lamondre Jr. still mixing it up in that front group. I was surprised to know that he has never been to this track before either. Another new one for him. His home is on the East Coast, so all these West Coast tracks are new for him. Carrying that momentum off the ridge has really spiked his confidence. I asked him, how do you learn a new circuit that you've never been to before? He said the track walk definitely helps on Thursdays at the start of the race weekend, but he watches the races from last year, but nothing compares to the experience of just getting out there and riding.
All right, thanks to the third member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopa, giving us some insight there as race action continues to be mixy on the racetrack right now. But Jay, looking at Kayla Yakov, the last couple races, really since Road Atlanta, we've seen a strength in Yakov. Downhill braking is Gus Rodeo off the track.
Yeah, he runs off, but I was going to say, I want you to finish your point there on Kayla, but how about Bickney's? He's just kind of closing the gap on them all. 39 flat last time through for the rider in 6th place, who had that accident happen almost directly in front of him. But Hayden Bickney's on the 69 is closing it back up.
Yeah, but now he's got Gus Rodeo too, so those two can work together to try to close this gap if Bickney's can get on the back tail section. But what I was thinking about with Kayla Yakov is, I would think that with the way she's been aggressive on the brakes and been good on the brakes as Yakov moves into 3rd spot, that turn 2 is going to be a really strong place for her down a hill to pass. But we've seen kind of equal braking from all 5 up front. So, change of position for Yakov. Jason, replay.
You can see Rodeo is just to the outside of Kayla there, and he runs out onto that paint. Now, the interesting part about that paint out there, G-Dub, is it kind of goes away from you. It's one of the few places on the track where if you get out on the paint, even though it could be grippy, it does kind of go away from you there. So you can see there that he just got out a little wide, but look at Greg. He's already closed that gap back up as these 4 in front of him continued to fight. Cody Wyman now trying to get past Lamondre Jr. And now you're going to get to see if Kayla does have what you talked about going down into turn 2, but she has 3 other guys that she has to deal with down there at the bottom of the turn. She's going to slot herself into 3rd behind the 2 teammates, Max Van and Lamondre Jr.
Yeah, so what I was saying is it wasn't the dominant performance downhill braking that we've seen from her in some of the other racetracks heading down into turn number 2. But Yakov's still in the mix in 3rd spot. So you have Max Van now take it to the point. It's good to see Max Van back up front leading races again on that SportbikeTrackGear.com entry. So teammates going 1-2 as Max Van trying to claw his way back into this championship. 19 points adrift from Gus Rodeo, who had a nice save, did the number 96. Gus Rodeo on that Rodeo Racing Warhorse HSBK Ninja 400. On his off-track excursion.
Yeah, he's done a nice job of recovering that as he went up the inside of Cody Wyman there in turn 5. And, this is, you can see Bickney's, Greg, he's still trying to get on the back. And I saw Chase Black back there as well in 7th place. He just ran 38.8 for Chase Black. He was the quickest rider on the track. If this lot here continues to kind of get in each other's way, it's going to be a lot easier for those 2 that you can see just off in the distance, Bickney and Black, to catch back up. Here's the young man we're talking. Oh, and he tips off in turn 14. The number 14, Chase Black, was moving forward. He's got to get that bike picked up as quickly as he can. He's trying to anyways. That's too bad.
Out of Round Rock, Texas on that Pure Attitude Ninja 400. A good run, and turn 11 claims another one here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. It's more of not a club of who's crashed there, Jason. It's more of a club of who hasn't.
Yeah, you're not lying, and it's really easy to do there. And you just get into that corner and you trail off in there and you think everything's good, and then right before you get ready to let go of the lever, you can see that bike chatter and G-Dub as he's tipping in, just trailing off ever so slightly, and a lot of people have tipped off there. So at the front though, Look what's happening here. Lamandry Jr. trying. I mean, that's a break in this class, right? I mean, that's like a break almost. So Lamandry Jr. doing everything he can to try to get away, as Yakov now has taken that next point in second place. She is going to try to be the one to chase down Lamandry Jr. because this little bit of a gap is the biggest gap we've seen. Hannah?
Last year was Kayla's first year at this track, so step by step she's getting more acquainted with the track layout. Her setup is completely different here than last year. They made some pretty big changes at the ridge, and of course it paid off. The team is not so reluctant to make such big changes as a result of that, but her confidence keeps coming the more laps she turns. She really wanted to try to stick with this front group. She said she doesn't need to lead, but if the opportunity presents itself, of course the racer in her, she's going to take it. But she said she wants to learn from the other riders as she gets more comfortable and wait till the end to make her move.
Kayla with a little move, telling the rest of the team behind her, hey, let's go ahead and just follow me, and we'll see if we can close the gap to Lamandry as he goes 138 flat. So 138.001 for Lamandry Jr. as he goes big, setting the fastest lap of the race. Yakov answers with a 38.1 as race action continues to heat up here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. So that gap down to nothing now. Impressive riding from Yakov as she thinks everybody's right behind her, ready to pounce. But she's created a bit of a gap back to Max Van, Gus Rodeo, and your pole sitter, Cody Wyman.
Man, how impressive is she to be able to close that gap? You can see that what Lamandry Jr. was doing there was he was trying to splinter this group and try to create a breakaway. And I'll tell you, when you don't get passed in this class, he hasn't been passed for a full lap now. But now he's got Kayla, who has ran him down, and she's actually trying to help make that break a two-rider break, but I don't think it's going to happen, Greg, as Gus Rodeo now, it looks like he's trying to go around the outside of Max Van at the top of the corkscrew. Max Van's been incredibly fast all weekend. He's led a couple of these sessions. Seems like he's got some confidence going this weekend here at Laguna Seca. He was able to let off the lever there and not let Gus Rodeo go around the outside of him. Right now on this lap, Gus Rodeo with the quickest first split of anybody in the race. And that's what's allowed these guys to continue to try to go with Lamandry Jr. As they come out of that last corner again. Bazooka Joe leading them down the lap again. This is going to be 2 laps in a row, or 3 laps almost in a row that he has led across the line. 38 flat, 37.9 for Gus Rodeo that time through. So
it's what we continue to see in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup later in the race as fuel loads start to drop. The tires, the Dunlop tires, hold up so well. We continue to see fastest laps being set.
Man, Joe's got a lot of mid-corner speed through the middle of turn 2. You can see Kayla was really the only one that's able to go with him through there. Now, if Kayla gets a nice drive out of this next corner, turn 4. Oh, Joe gets into a little bit of a slide there. That's going to give her an opportunity, Greg, to just draft up to the side and probably pass.
Lead change.
The smallest little thing that you do on these bikes to break momentum, it just costs you so much speed. As Joe Lamandry Jr. goes back to second, Kayla gets to the front. Now let's see if she can try to do what Lamandry. I think they both have a little bit of pace if they can work together.
Five and a half laps to go in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 1, and we have a pass for the lead as Joe Lamandry Jr. takes over the spot again from Kayla Yakov as the battle for third keeps going like an accordion. They close up on these two for a moment, and then they get a bit of a gap. But Lamandry Jr., the 17-year-old who works construction on Long Island, homeschooled, gets up at 5 a.m. each day, gets home at 4 o'clock, goes to school, and then works out. He is dedicated to this sport, and he's trying to put another win in the bag.
Keeping a little eye back there on old Cody Wyman, you know, the vet of this class. He's got 2 riders in front of him that are swapping paint from 3rd to 4th there, and Cody Wyman on the 34. We know he's pretty savvy, Greg, and he knows there's still 5 laps to go. There's a lot of things that can play out in this race on that retro-colored Kawasaki that you were talking about earlier. But see the amount of gap that these two in front pull away in turn 2? The amount of roll speed that they both have right in the middle of turn 2 is pretty extensive. And let's see if Lamandry can get through. You can see he actually lost the front a little bit while he was trying to get himself back into a tuck coming out of turn 4. And that's what lost that front end ever so slightly. And they all close back up once they get to turn 5. But then Lamandry Jr. and Yakov look pretty good. As you can see, Lamandry Jr. goes up the inside of Kayla into the corkscrew. Wheelies coming down the corkscrew.
It's a nice picture there. Yakov behind Lamondre Jr. There's a couple corners where they get into where she looks like she's sitting up a little bit early. And there's a little battle for third as these two start roughing each other up. Gus Rodeo's got to really play it smart, because what he doesn't want to do is have Max Van get back by him and then create a larger gap. So a good run by your championship points leader, Rodeo.
I was down yesterday, G-Dub, in this turn that they're getting ready to go through right now, turn 10, and Gus Rodeo's speed through here was impressive. You could see how fast he was going. There were certain riders whose bikes were on the limiters coming down into turn 10. His bike still had some room, as you see Cody Wyman now go past Max Van. But Gus Rodeo, from the run out of Rainey in through turn 10, had more speed than anybody, and where that can pay dividends for him is if he can get up to just behind the two riders in front, he might be able to do something down in turn 11. Now, this is the corner where the two in front have a lot of mid-corner speed. But look, Gus Rodeo's got the same amount of speed as them. So, again, I think Gus has got a bike that's geared really perfect, and he's good in corners that are going to pay out big dividends at the end.
Hannah?
Well, Jay, exactly like you said, they set the gearing up yesterday morning and they have not changed it at all. So you're 100% correct there. And it's funny you mentioned he's doing so well and getting such a good drive out of some of these turns in the later sectors on the track. It was something he was really trying to focus and work hard on. He knows he's strong through the first sector, but was really hoping to make up some time toward the end of the track. He said the bike itself overall is good, no complaints at all. He was really hoping to be able to break away, stay in the consistent low 37s, but you know it's difficult to break away from this pack.
It is. It's really difficult, Hannah, but right now he's done a nice job of getting out of turn 6, drafting up to the back of Lamondre. He's not going to be able to do anything with him this time through the corkscrew as the leaders come down through that corkscrew. And it does appear to me, Greg, that the two at front, and I think Kayla can go with them as well, as long as these two don't trip each other up. I feel like they have a little bit of pace, and I've been saying that a lot, but it's now Gus Rodeo who's taken back into second place, and it looks like he wants to try to do something with Lamondre as they get into turn 11. He's not going to be close enough to do it. But I don't know if Max Van, and we haven't really seen much out of Cody. Cody has now fallen back to 5th again. He's going to be able to utilize a little bit of a draft that we might have here at Laguna Seca. You can see there, got 3 laps to go, Greg. 37.66 by Gus Rodeo that time through, and he's able to get past Lamondre. And Kayla Yakov goes up underneath Lamondre Jr. as well. And look at Cody Wyman. There he is. He passes Max Van. So a lot of swapping with 3 to go here at Laguna.
See if Lamondre Jr. pushed too hard early on those Dunlop tires, and maybe he's giving up a little bit of traction. A good shot of down into the corkscrew for Lamondre Jr. and a good wheelie by Gus Rodeo, who leads the way. There goes Lamondre Jr. on the right part of your screen. Up the inside goes Cody Wyman. So
Cody, yep. He missed a gear though. You see him backshifted in the middle of the turn. So Cody missed he wasn't able to get that last downshift in. That's going to cost him some time. And it looks like Max Van and Kayla were able to go by. So, oh no!
Gus Rodeo, your championship points leader, is down and out of this race. So late on, the 96 throws it in the gravel trap. So that's going to change things up. Now all of a sudden it's about maximizing the advantage, although it was only 2 points between Rodeo and Wyman.
Man, that hurts in this championship because everybody's so close. It's not just one person that you're battling against, and you're going to see he's getting into turn 6, Greg, and he runs out a little bit wide, gets out on that green paint, and just isn't able to bring it back. I saw him do that a lap ago and was able to get that bike back up underneath him. That lap didn't work out. We are going to have 2 to go now with the teammates of Max Van and Lamondre Jr. leading at the front.
Gus Rodeo back on the track, trying to get at least some points in this championship. Down into turn number 2 we go. Pass for position, the 31 of Yakov on it. Altus Motorsports, Kawasaki Ninja 400 goes into second spot. Lamondre Jr. leads the way. And Gus Rodeo looked like he was going to be making a break as well and just couldn't handle. There he is, Gus Rodeo on the left part of your screen. We'll see if he's able to continue on with the race or if he's got to pull into the pits. Depends on the damage on the motorcycle. But all our eyes are right here as now another pass position and contact.
Oh, Max Van and Kayla go down. Oh, man. Into turn 5, Greg. Max Van And Kayla was just hooked up with both motorcycles as they went sliding backwards into the air fence. There was nothing Kayla could do there.
And Max looking like he's going to attend to Kayla to make sure she's okay. And so those two bikes just got stuck together, and Kayla surfing on that motorcycle. And now all of a sudden, Lamondre Jr., red flag out, red flag in this race. So last time by the stripe, it was Lamondre Jr., Max Van, Kayla Yakov, 1, 2, 3, Cody Wyman, Hayden Bickneys, Aiden Thau, Avery Dreyer, Yandel Medina, Owen Williams, and Alex Enrique.
Man, you saw Joe look back there as he came out of Rainy Corner and was wondering where everybody was. So Cody Wyman would have got a first look at that. And it appeared that Max Van tried to go down the inside there of Kayla Yakov in turn 5, lost the front, and then their bikes kind of got hooked up together, and Kayla was just along for the ride at that point.
We only saw 2 riders go down early on in this race, Daniel Lanuza and Chase Black. So riders will make their way back to, I mean, this one's going to be over in essence.
Yeah. They're both up, which is a good thing to see. And Kayla's just wondering, you know, Greg, we've seen a couple times this year, and we're going to get a look at it. Look, they just got together. To be honest with you, that is just 2 people trying to go for the same spot, and their handlebars got locked in. It almost looked like the bar protector for the front brake lever got hooked in there on Kayla's bar, and they couldn't get apart from each other. And you can see here, Kayla goes in backwards with both bikes flipping around her into the air fence. I'm super happy to see her get up. Thank you to Road Racing World, obviously, for that air fence that's been protecting so many riders. And this race is going to be official, G-Dub.
It certainly is. So motorcycles onto the crash truck. Yakov looks like she's a little battered and bruised on that one. And that was just a really strange incident. I mean, Kayla was moving over to the left. Max was there. It was just kind of a convergence of 2, and it looks like right shoulder for Yakov possibly.
Yeah.
It looks like, as we've had a timing and scoring change from our perspective, that it's going to be Lamondre Jr., Cody Wyman, and Hayden Bickneys on the podium, with Aiden Thau, Avery Dreyer, Yandel Medina. Lamondre Jr. race pace in this red flag shortened race. Gus Rodeo with the fastest lap of the race with a 37.6, but that 38.1 in the middle of the race for Lamondre Jr. And he took a lot of shots from a lot of people, Jay.
He did.
And was able to hold on for that victory.
Yeah, I'd never like to see a race end like that. Real happy that both of them are up and okay. Bickneys does, like you say, finish 3rd. Real tight battle, Greg, for 4th between Aiden Thau, Dreyer, Medina, with Aiden Thau coming up on top with Owen Williams in 7th in that race.
All right, we'll step away from WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and have your official podium when we return.
All right, well, some fun being had off track and some interesting stuff unfolding on track here. Again, Joseph Lamondre Jr. just really had, he was very consistent with his speed, was just throwing in the 38s consistently, but that was just a weird incident. What's your perspective on it there?
It was a racing incident. Yeah. Those two going for the same line, and the way these guys and girls racing the Junior Cup, I mean, I'm not surprised that happens because they're drafting. You have 5 riders that close, and once they get hooked like that, it just seems like they just got hooked there. And Kayla doesn't look like she looks like she's hurting. I'm glad to see her up, though.
Right.
I mean, the way she went into that air fence, so that air fence saved her. I will say that. So shout out to Road Racing World, Auction Fund, and doing those air fences, and all the people that do things and donate to that. They have saved a lot of riders throughout the years, so saved me a few times as well. So those air fence funds, Road Racing World does a great job. And here we go. You see Kayla there in 2nd. See, she comes over. Yep. She kind of comes over on bikes.
Yeah, you can see where it got hooked right there.
Yeah, she kind of looks like she came over on bikes a little bit. Maybe she was going to make a pass and was got in a draft and came over. But, it kind of looks like she came over on Max.
I think she was. I think she had a good run.
See how she starts coming around? I think she was going to try to make a pass, and Max was there.
And then the bike's hook right there.
Joseph Lamandry's lucky he didn't get hit.
Boy, he could have got cleared out, couldn't he?
Be interesting to see that front angle one more time, because it definitely kind of looks like maybe she was going to try to make the pass and, didn't have the room. Max was there.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. She had a good run and was coming up on it. And then when they got off track, the way she was sitting there, that rear wheel was, she was limping a little bit as well as holding her arm, and that rear wheel was right at her back of his bike, and then when they hit and it tumbled, that's where her arm was. So I think she just got rattled a bit.
Yeah, I mean, also those bikes flipping there right beside her on both bikes. You never know what happened, but as long as she's up and she's okay, and she's going to be bruised and she's going to be sore tomorrow, but it's nothing that she can't overcome.
Well, we've seen it many times, haven't we, where a real athlete, they get hurt a little bit, and to get over it, they literally almost go to a different zone and end up going faster or throwing the ball better, whatever, than they ever did.
She's already has a torn ACL that she has to wait until the end of the season to get fixed. So she's a strong young lady.
Yeah, she gives it everything, no question about it. And just love the way she just rolls speed down into every corner, just attacks, big time. But tell you what, you're right. Joseph Lamandry Jr. was really lucky not to get cleared out by those two. And you noticed it as well. He turned around and looked back, and it was almost like this disbelief about what happened here.
Yeah, one lap, you're in a pack of 6 people, and you turn around and you're a couple seconds ahead of the guy that's right behind you. So he rode good, though, and he's put in a lot of good races this year, doing the full season, and I think it's really starting to pay off for him. And, the points, we thought Gus is going to lose a lot of points, and then the other, some of his rivals have some problems too, so everybody's making some mistakes here and there.
And let's not take anything away from the ride Hayden Bickney's put in, too, in the number 69. That was a really, really, good run. Yeah, some 10 seconds behind Lamandry, but, he was in the thick of a huge battle and just kept scrapping and pays off with the podium.
And he was by himself, and we were watching with about 5 laps to go. I pointed out he was doing the same lap times, a couple laps as the leaders, but he was just too far back to get in that draft. And I think toward the end of the race, he probably just slowed down a little bit because he had such a gap on the group behind him and he knew he wasn't going to catch that group in front of him by himself. So, early in the race, he lost that draft. If he didn't lose that draft, I think Hayden Bickneys would have been there. But, first you got to finish, and he's got himself on his. I believe it's going to be his first podium. So that's great for him.
That absolutely is. And, looking at the points now with where Rodeo finished down in the 11th spot, Lamandry Jr. and Wyman were tied for second, only 2 back. That's going to put Lamandry into the point lead here. But, of course, another race tomorrow. A lot of riders up for some redemption.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
All right, so this is how it ended up. Joe Lamandry Jr. ends up winning. Cody Wyman in second, Hayden Bickneys in third, Aiden Thau in fourth, with Avery Dreyer in fifth, Yandel Medina, Williams, and Enriquez, Riviera, and Nichols, your top 10.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Championship standings after this melee have Lamandry Jr. now with the points lead over Cody Wyman by 5, Gus Rodeo 18, and Kayla Yakov at 31. Let's get right down to Hannah with our winner, Joe Lamandry Jr.
Well, this marks Joe Lamondre Jr.'s second victory of the season, which brings him to the top of the point standings. Joe, you were clear of that drama on that last lap there. Take us through it.
You know, I knew it was going to be a big battle for this race, seeing how in qualifying everyone was so close. So I just wanted to lead every single lap and stop towing behind people, because that's usually where you get pushed back and you can't make it back to the front. But, you know, my SportbikeTrackGear, Boss Racing, CyberSafeSolutions.com bike worked absolutely phenomenal. I have the new RST suit to look clean up here on the podium. But, you know, huge thanks to RST, SportbikeTrackGear, Boss Racing, CyberSafe Solutions, Spears Racing, NJ Mini GP, Ethan Chaplow, Southern Pine Performance, JP43 Training, MotoAmerica's, and just everyone else here supporting me. And it just feels great to be back up here again, and I'm excited for tomorrow. I hope, I'm pretty sure it was Max, Kayla, and Gus that went down, so I hope they're up and all right. And the new kid that came here, I hope he's all right as well. So I'm just going to keep this momentum going tomorrow, and we're excited for the next race.
Your STG.
Great job by Lamondre Jr. And that's what happens, Jay. You're out front, and the stuff happens behind you, putting yourself in a good position.
Absolutely, Greg. From the start of the weekend, that was his plan going into this race. He wanted to try to lead these laps. Let's get back down to Hannah with second place.
Well, second place today is Cody Wyman, and he had to run to the Twins race, but I have our third place finisher, a career first podium for Hayden Bickneys. Hayden, after a crash earlier this morning, your team had to completely rebuild this bike. Did you expect that you'd be standing here at the end of the day?
I expected, because I knew they were going to do the best job possible. And I want to thank my mom and dad. They're the only reason why I'm up here today. They helped me so much. And my dad, Andrew, and Mike for rebuilding the bike. And I hope that everybody that crashed is all good. And I want to thank Greg Spears. Hopefully he stays healthy. He's in the hospital right now. And I want to thank Reb Graphics making this bike look amazing. Innovative Motorsports, Dunlop Tires, and all the corner workers and all the staff making this happen.
Congratulations to Hayden Bickneys, guys.
So this morning when I was rolling in here, I saw them pulling Hayden's bike out from turn 5, so I'm happy to see him get his first podium.
All right, race 2 coming up after this. For Hannah, Jason, I'm Greg. Thanks for joining us.